Hey everyone, welcome back to InsightRx. Today we have Rachel Gonzalez, a PhD candidate in the Department of Biostats at the University of Michigan. She specializes in cancer research and has been trained through the department's Cancer Biostats training program. Before joining Michigan Biostats, Rachel earned her BS in Applied Mathematics and Statistics in North Carolina State University. In her free time, she enjoys exploring the outdoors, drinking good tea, playing volleyball, and baking sweet treats.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So, jumping into your high school, can you tell us a little bit about your high school and what it was like and what your favorite subjects were?
Yeah, so I went to Cedar Ridge High School in Orange County, North Carolina. So I grew up in somewhat of a rural area, but we had a lot of AP classes that were offered at my high school. So I took a lot of those classes, especially math and science classes like calculus and physics that my high school offered through the AP curriculum, as well as doing extracurricular leadership activities like Girl Scouts and school volleyball as well.
How many AP classes did you take, and were there any that you found particularly challenging or rewarding?
I took quite a bit. So,
Mhm.
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but probably like 7 or 8. Yeah, so I ended up taking enough to graduate, from undergraduate degree in, 3 years. So that was, like, a significant cost savings for my family. But I think my favorite or most useful AP class that I took was AP Calculus. So I took both AP and BC, and I use that every day in my work as, a statistician. It was a prerequisite for my, degree. So
Mhm.
I think that was, like, the most beneficial. But I also really enjoyed AP US History. Just a little bit of the history nerd as well.
Did you have any extracurricular activities that you were passionate about, and which ones had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah, so I was involved in a lot of things. I think I already mentioned that I was in Girl Scouts and also in volleyball. So I was on both the school team and a club team.
Mhm.
And then in addition to that, I played the tenor saxophone in our high school band, but I
Mhm.
wasn't in marching band, just like the concert band as an
Mhm.
elective. I think the thing that I was most passionate about was volleyball. I spent like a lot of my time learning how to play the game, and I feel like I learned how to collaborate with different types of people and to be a leader and also take direction from others. So that was really fun, and it kept me healthy, and I still enjoy doing that in graduate school.
Looking back, were there any school experiences that helped shape your interest in stats or research or volleyball?
I think I had a really good calculus teacher that I just really set me up on a good path. So I always
Mhm.
loved math. And when I came into calculus, like I knew I might be pursuing something related to math for my undergraduate degree. But having such
Mhm.
a great experience and an encouraging teacher reaffirmed that passion for me. So I think that was a really important part of my journey in high school. And then also like, just learning how to balance, like, all of these different extracurriculars was important too, and I had to prioritize them to figure what was most important for me. I decided for me to focus on academics.
Do you have any advice for us high schoolers trying to balance academics, AP classes, and ECs?
Yeah, I think just choose like the things that you're most passionate about. So it's really common to have lots of extracurricular activities on top of classes and family commitments. But choose
Mhm.
a handful that really make you smile and that you enjoy doing and that you're excited to show up and participate in. Because you can't do everything, but prioritizing those things that really make you like a happy and well-rounded person will likely
Mhm.
continue to help you as an individual throughout the rest of your life. So, yeah, just prioritizing those.
Yeah. How did you think admissions officers evaluate essays and extracurriculars? And what are some big tips that you would give to make other people's applications stand out?
I think when you're applying for undergrad, your personal essay is really important because it sets you apart from other people and allows you to share your individual voice. So I think
Mhm.
for my tip, I would say like start early on it and spend a lot of time like sort of creating an outline for what you want to talk about, and then
Mhm.
drafting it. And so you're able to like really put the best version of yourself forward. And then I would also say is like now because AI is so common that admissions officers can tell if you use AI in your essays, like you just can.
Mhm.
So like if you use it to check for errors or something then that's probably okay. But like try to make sure that your voice is the one that's coming through.
Mhm.
And I think as far as extracurriculars, they want to see like that you're well-rounded, involved, but also I think it's unrealistic for anyone to be involved in everything. So
Mhm.
see that you have a few things that you care about that you are taking some sort of leadership role in.
Now we're gonna like switch gears into the college admission process. So, can you walk us through your college application process and what made you choose the University of Michigan?
So for my undergraduate, I actually went to North Carolina State University. So I always knew I wanted to go to NC State. So I only applied to two universities. I applied to NC State and then University of Charlotte because my parents made me apply to a
Mhm.
second one. But I reviewed the like admissions criteria in the process and I started really early. And I made sure to ask like people to provide my letters of recommendation early as well.
Mhm.
And my parents helped me like edit my essays. They were really helpful with that. And so, yeah, I think starting early was the most important thing. And then having others help you like revise your essays is good.
How important do you think grades are in college applications versus like extracurriculars and essays?
I don't know the exact answer to that because I've never like worked with anyone that actually reviews
Mhm.
applications for college. But I think that in general, colleges like to see well-rounded individuals. So I don't think any one aspect is like the be all end all. But I think like in general, they take a holistic approach and look at everything. Of course, there's gonna be like some sort of minimum grades that you need.
Mhm.
I think they're fairly important, but I don't think they're the be all end all.
So this is just like a general question. So many people in high school decide to take language as a class. So how important of a role does language credits play when applying to college?
I think it could be neat, like if you take a lot of language classes in high school, but I don't know that it plays like a super big role in like the college admissions process.
Okay. Now let's kind of like switch gears again into college life. So what was your major and how did you choose it?
Yeah, so my major, I did a double major in applied
Mhm.
mathematics and then also statistics. And they really complemented each other because the applied mathematics major actually had like 15 credit hours that I could devote to my statistics courses as the
Mhm.
applied section of the degree. So I didn't have to take too many extra credits. But I chose the majors just because I was interested in math, but I also was really interested in the like practical application of statistics and how it can be used to answer a lot of everyday questions. So that paired with the more like rigorous math theory set me up pretty well.
How did your college experience prepare you for your grad school or research?
Yeah, so I think the combination of math and statistics is really helpful because in grad school for biostatistics or a statistics program, especially if you're getting a PhD like me, you focus a lot on statistical theory, which involves a lot of mathematics. So
Mhm.
having that underlying knowledge and the practice putting together mathematical arguments helped me in my graduate statistics education as well as just like the statistics knowledge that I had from my undergraduate as well. But not everyone that goes on to study biostatistics at the graduate level studied it in undergrad. You just have to have like a certain prerequisite courses.
Now let's switch gears to the present. And so, for people who may not know, what exactly is the field of biostats?
Yeah, so biostatistics is the application of statistics to solve problems relating to human health. And
Mhm.
so contrary to the name, it's not necessary to have an in-depth knowledge of biology. But a lot of what we do is really applied to biological problems that we as humans face. So some
Mhm.
examples of what you might do is conduct research to understand if a new drug is effective against a certain disease, or make use of new data from spatial imaging techniques to see how the tumor microenvironment impacts cancer prognosis. So there's lots of different research questions related to our health, and these get used by doctors to treat us every day.
So, how did you decide to study biostats?
So I actually had an internship at a company called Covance that was a contract research organization, which means they help
Mhm.
pharmaceutical companies develop drugs. And I was a statistical programmer, which means I wrote
Mhm.
computer codes for outputting figures and things like that. But while I was there, we worked like sort of alongside biostatisticians that were in charge of the study,
Mhm.
like the study design of clinical trials. And through that, I became interested in applying my statistics education that I had in undergrad to the field of biostatistics. So I thought I could really make an impact in people's lives.
So, what does a typical day look like for you as a biostats PhD candidate?
Yeah. So the first 2 or 3 years of my degree, I was taking courses most days of the week and also sprinkled in some research projects advised by faculty. But now that I'm a candidate, which just means that I've completed all the course requirements and taken my qualifying exam, I'm solely working on my dissertation. So I have an office at my school where I go and I sit at my computer and I do computer code and I write some equations at my desk and I work
Mhm.
on new statistical methods for a problem in collaboration with my advisors.
So, what type of job opportunities are available in biostats?
So there's a lot of different opportunities in a few different sectors. So some people work in the pharmaceutical industry. So those are the companies that develop drugs, and they of course need statisticians to design their clinical trials and evaluate
Mhm.
the efficacy and safety of these drugs. So a lot of statisticians work in that area. Some statisticians work for consulting companies or other life sciences companies. And
Mhm.
then another big employer is the government. We have government agencies like the National Institutes of Health, the CDC, the FDA, and they employ a lot of statisticians as well to oversee our drug development and like health initiatives as a country and set priorities.
Mhm.
So those, and then also academic institutions like the University of Michigan. So the department employs statisticians as faculty members, but also staff members and statistical sort of consulting centers that advise on
Mhm.
statistics projects for the whole university.
Are there any current projects that you're excited about in your research?
Yeah, so there's one that I'm just wrapping up. Oh, there's this sort of hypothesis lately that a certain type of therapy that we give for cancer, it's called immunotherapy because it interacts with our immune systems. There's a hypothesis that it's more effective when given in the morning versus in the afternoon because of how our
Mhm.
bodies work. And so I've been involved in an observational study where we use data from the Veterans Affairs system to sort of assess this hypothesis in a rigorous way using fancy statistical methods.
Mhm.
And we did our study and we wrote it up, and it should be published pretty soon. So that's really exciting.
That
Mhm.
is really exciting. For students interested in your field, what are steps you would recommend starting in high school or college?
Yeah, I think a really strong foundation in math is important. So you don't have to major in
Cool.
math, but making sure that you take calculus all the way up through calculus three,
Mhm.
and then some sort of linear algebra course, and also an introduction to statistics courses as well. Would be important to take in college, and always focusing on scientific writing and communication. And then computer programming is becoming really important now. So some languages you might start to learn if you're interested are R, which I use every day, or Python as well is popular. So those are a few things you can do.
A general question would be, how did you manage stress during hard times throughout your life?
Yeah, I think relying on the people that were close to me was really important. So I
Mhm.
built a support system around myself. Not everyone is close with my family, but I happen to be really close with my family. So I relied on them. And my friends from high school and college were really important sources of support
Mhm.
for me. So recognizing that I didn't have to do everything on my own, it's takes the big weight off your shoulders. And then also through my faith as well.
How do you see the field of biostats evolving in the next few years, particularly in cancer research?
Well, I think something really big that's happening right now is that there's new types of technologies that we use to image people's tumors, and they can actually tell you what type of cell and what location it's at in the tumor. So whether it's like an
Mhm.
immune cell and what type of immune cell, and whether it's a tumor cell. And so that technology has opened up a lot of avenues for different research methods that people that I go to school with are actively like working on their dissertation in these areas. So it's really cool. And then of course with AI, we're gonna learn how to integrate it into our workflow. It's not gonna like take over our jobs, but creating it to make us more productive steps.
Yeah. And on that note, we thank you for having thank you for letting us have you on our podcast today.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much
thank
for
you so
making
much.
time.
Yeah.